The United Nations has said that Saudi Arabia is systematically attacking and targeting civilians in Yemen. Interesting story in The Independent yesterday saying that David Cameron has been asked to stop arming or stop selling arms to the Saudis. I think we have that head, maybe that story. We have loads of pictures and loads of stories here. There he is there. Cameron, between May 2010 and March 2015, the last government, the coalition, sold or licensed, to give it a proper title, £4 billion in arms sales to the Saudis. Now that the Conservatives were elected last year uncontested, they won the election in a majority, didn't they? Sales have gone through the roof. Oh yeah, they've managed to increase sales. £3 billion worth of arms was sold last year alone to the Saudis, to our great friends. The results? 10,000 Yemenis are dead. Children are dead! Young children! And I don't have a child. Children like them have been blown to fucking pieces by bombs made in this country. Live with that when you're watching the X Factor or the fucking match tomorrow. Live with that. 80% of the population, according to Amnesty, needs aid. And the Saudis are targeting schools, hospitals and markets. And you know what makes it even worse? Is that British military officers are in the control rooms when it is going on. I'm right, aren't I? There's no lies being told here. There's no conjecture. We learned this week that British military personnel are acting as cheerleaders. Now, that might be harsh. They're acting as cheerleaders. They're standing there watching children being blown to pieces in Yemen and presumably going, very effective that, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
It works very well, that, yeah.
Isn't that how
Are you happy you bought
been?
that? Do you want some more of those missiles? Eh? Faisal, what do you think, Faisal? Very good, it's very good. Fucking children.
Thus has it always been, Richie. And unless we do something, it's always going to be that way.
And we'll come to Cameron in a minute, the rat bastard that he is. He was questioned by Jeremy Corbyn in Prime Minister's Questions on Wednesday this week. Very fair question about an inquiry. You think you'd have a public inquiry, wouldn't you? Children being blown to pieces by an ally of ours using bombs that we gave them. We'll come to that in a minute. We have a report from Channel 4 News, don't we? We should just go to that so I can calm down. Let's have a look.
Last week, these airstrikes by a Saudi-led coalition killed at least 6 people in northern Yemen. When an ambulance run by Médecins Sans Frontières arrived at the scene, MSF says another airstrike hit the ambulance and killed the driver. The aid agency says at least 40 others were wounded in a wave of attacks. Children were among them. Will I live or not? Asked this boy. Can't be more than about 12 years old. Which begs the question why British bombs like this one are being dropped. Why the British government approved more than £1 billion worth of British bombs and missiles being sold to Saudi Arabia from last July to September. And Jeremy Corbyn is angry for one.
Coalition forces have conducted airstrikes targeting civilians and civilian objects.
Today he asked the Prime Minister to review and suspend arms sales to the Saudi Kingdom.
As the Right Honourable Gentleman knows, we have the strictest rules for arms exports of almost any country anywhere in the world. And let me remind him, we are not a member of the Saudi-led coalition. We're not directly involved in the Saudi-led coalition's operations. British personnel are not involved in carrying out strikes.
Not directly involved, he says, but the government admits British military advisers are in the air campaign's control rooms. And British military advice certainly didn't prevent this attack on an MSF hospital on January the 10th, which the aid agency says killed or injured patients and medical staff.
We're not part of the coalition, he said. We give them the bombs and our men are in the control room, but it's got fuck all to do with us. I made an analogy on the radio show last night that got a few laughs. I suppose it was funny. It wasn't meant to be funny. I'm not a funny guy, really. I get laughed at a lot, but I'm not particularly funny. Maybe I have a unique kind of perspective on things that people find amusing sometimes. But if my neighbour Christy, as I mentioned last night, I don't have a neighbour Christy, but imagine I do, despises my other neighbour Michael, really hates him. And not only that, but he wants his house and his possessions. And he's a bit unbalanced. And I give Christy a couple of Glocks, a shotgun and a baseball bat. And Michael ends up turning up dead or in a gutter, somebody's head caved in. But I've got fuck all to do with that. None of my business. That's a fair analogy, isn't it, Hayden?
Yeah. Sadly, last night I responded with, well, that would be very neighbourly.
That'd be very neighbourly of you.
But I'm maybe not.
No.
But no, it's a completely fair analogy, and it's exactly how geopolitics has worked for the last few generations. It's how it's worked. Find a bad situation, profit of it.
Every now and then, Hayden, you're absolutely spot on. Every now and then, the Hague arrests somebody from some country in Africa. Some madman now. Let's be honest about it. Whether it's, I don't know. My mind was filled a few minutes ago with recent Charles, what's his name, who was tried for war crimes. You have so many names going around your head. I should have written a few down. What they do, they find these third world dictators and they bring them forward. It's absolutely fair, and it isn't sensational to say David Cameron should be arrested along with George Osborne and brought to The Hague and charged with being complicit in the murders of those children. It's as simple as that. When you give somebody weapons whom you know is going to use those weapons to murder innocent people, you are an accessory before and after the fact.